In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to write a budget, where you should write it, the best way to write it, my recommendations, and what we actually do as a family for controlling our money and budgeting our finances. My name is Nate. I'm a popular investor on eToro. I've been in the investing industry 10 plus years, and if you want to get started investing, then by all means jump in the comments below, ask your questions, let's have a chat down there. There is a link to where you can start investing as well below on eToro. But again, let's dig into the budgeting. Now, on this show, as I like to say, we talk real money for real people. We dig into the real numbers, into real things in real life, not start this business, do that, all this kind of stuff. And we touch on some of those things, but I like to keep it very foundational and real stuff. Let's dig into budgeting now. Budgeting, firstly, what is a budget? A budget is telling your money where to go before you wonder where it went, basically. Okay, so it's when you get paid, you're allocating that money on paper before you've spent it. Now, it is not restrictive. It doesn't need to be restrictive. You may have seasons where, you're putting more money towards bills and things like that. That's life, usually. But you'll have seasons where you've got some excess and some extra funds, and you can save for something like a holiday, and then you can go on that holiday, spend the money, and not feel bad about it, okay? So budgeting is simply telling your money where to go before it just disappears. Okay, so it's not restrictive. It doesn't need to be restrictive. It doesn't have to be controlling or anything like that. And then you just execute the budget as you go through the week or the month or the fortnight, whatever it is, how you lay out your budget. Now, where should you budget? Where should you track your money? You can do it in a like a app. There's a lot of apps out there. You could do it in a notebook. You could do as we do for our family. We do it on a whiteboard just like this. $15 from Kmart is where we do our budget. Exactly like this whiteboard, just a different whiteboard. We have a few of these whiteboards floating around. But so let's talk about apps. Now, apps are great, but they're sometimes not visible. You've got to open it up, or you've got to get on the computer. You've got to do these things. And if you're working with somebody, if you've got a husband or wife and you're working with somebody, you've got a family that you're working with, apps can sometimes you enter in all the numbers and then you forget about it. And all of a sudden you've spent money, 2, 3, 4 days have gone by, and and then you open it up, it's like, what did we spend here? What did we do this? And it can be tricky. A notebook, good also, but similar kind of thing, where if you don't open the notebook up or you don't open the Excel spreadsheet up, it can be difficult to keep on top of it as you go through the fortnight or the month as you go through living. This is why we use a whiteboard for our budgeting. Because a whiteboard, stick it up on the wall, or you have it in your room somewhere. We don't have it publicly displayed when we have visitors come over. We don't have it publicly displayed, but you can have it on the wall somewhere where your family can see it. And as you have your different categories, and that's what we're going to go over today, is the different categories. And as we pay the insurance bill, or as we go out for lunch, when we come back, we spend $45 on lunch or something, we come back, we deduct that from a social eating category or a spending category. So we deduct it from there. Now, and this way, if, I'm at work, or Chelsea's at work, or whatever's happening, each of us can look at the whiteboard, see where the categories are sitting, see what's happening, and then know, okay, this is reflective of what's in the bank account. This is reflective of what's happening. We don't have to message each other and say, hey, do we have money? We don't have to go to the grocery store. Do we have money for these groceries? No. We see the category, we know the money's there, and we go purchase it. And same with holidays. When we go on holiday, can we afford buying this stuff? The answer is yes, because we've saved for it. We've allocated the money. We have money to pay for our bills while we're on holiday and all this stuff. And so we allocate for it, we save for it, and then you don't feel bad spending the money because that's what you planned for it. That's what you plan to do. So let's dig into the whiteboard. Now we get paid fortnightly. Most people in Australia get paid fortnightly. Some places like the US will pay on the 1st and 15th, or will pay monthly. Some places in Australia as well will pay monthly as well. Some places pay weekly. Now, the way I like to do it is anytime income comes in, you add it at the top, and then you allocate that income to where it needs to go. So right at the top, when you get paid, you write down your income, what you brought in. And then the first category is where you have your living expenses from that paycheck to your next paycheck. So this is where things like groceries will come in. This is where things like rent will come in, or your mortgage payment will come in. This is where petrol or gas for your car will come in. Phone bills, internet bills, these kinds of things will come into this category. If you pay your electricity monthly, it'll come into this category. And so you want to write everything down in this category and then track your expenses from that paycheck to the next paycheck and write it down in there. If you need some clothing, then allocate some money towards that. We usually fit things like that, like clothing, into our personal spending money. So we allocate a bit of spending each fortnight between our paychecks for myself and for Chelsea. And that's our spending money to do what we want with, okay? To go buy a coffee, or to go out for lunch, or to, you fill in the blank, okay? So that's the first category, and you put your spending in there for between the paychecks, okay? And then you move on to the next category. This is short-term goals, or your sinking fund. So if you pay your electricity every 3 months, or you pay something, your rates, or if you're in a unit and you got body corporate, things like that, or HOA, I think it is in the US. If you've got that and you pay every 3 months or every 6 months, that's where the sinking fund comes in. Or you pay your insurance annually, something like that. So you save a little bit towards that each paycheck, so that when the quarterly electricity bill comes in, or the quarterly body corporate bill comes in, or whatever it may be, when it comes in, you have money to go towards that. Now, if you have extra, that's cool. You pay it and then you allocate those extra funds somewhere. If you don't have enough, cool. At least you've saved something towards it. You add funds from the most recent paycheck to cover the difference. So that's your sinking funds. Your short-term goals are anything within 2 years. Under 3 years really starts to is your short-term goal. So if you want to go on a overseas holiday and you're saving money for it, that fits into your short-term goals, and you put that money just into a bank account. Okay, you just set that into a bank account. That's where you want to set that there. And so they're your short-term goals. It's things like holidays. It's things like maybe a car. It's those kinds of things. Maybe some furniture, a couch, something like that goes into your short-term holidays. We have short-term goals. We have a thing in there for like just home improvement, right? And so that could be furniture, or that could be upgrading something like that, and just set a bit of money aside in there. Now, if you've got long-term goals, this is where something, maybe a car or a house or a unit or something like that, comes into play. It's 3 years or longer, okay? And what you're going to do with that money is you're actually going to put it into a low turnover ETF, exchange traded fund. You're actually going to invest this money, because once you hit 3 years or longer, the chances of you actually making money from investing it is much, much higher than if it was just 1 or 2 years. That's why we just keep the short-term goals in a bank account. But long-term goals, 3 years or longer, we go into an investment account. This is where something like eToro could be handy, and you just go and you just set money aside just into an S&P 500. That's an ETF that tracks the top 500 stocks in the US. So just into the S&P 500, something like that. VOO is an ETF by Vanguard that'll do that. SPY is an ETF by iShares that will do that. And an ETF this is an investment video, but an ETF is just a basket that holds all those companies inside it. So if you're saving up to buy a house, or you're saving up to buy something like that, put it into an investment if it's 3 years or longer. Or a car, put it into an investment, and you leave the money there. So you don't switch it to the short term. You just leave the money there. Even if it dips, even if it goes up, you just leave it there, and you keep putting into that. And when you're ready, when you see something, a property or something you want to buy, you pull the money out, you buy it, okay? And the beauty with it is, let's say the market's had a bit of a dip, you could say, we're just going to wait for the next few months and let it recover. Even if it's 6 months or so, let it recover and then pull the money out. That's the beauty with it. It is flexible. But always with investing, never use money that you need to live on. Okay, that's the rule of thumb there. Next step is your investments. Now, only invest if you have no consumer debt. I'm not talking mortgages. You only invest if you have no consumer debt. So no credit card debt, no car payments, no consumer debt. If you have those, wipe those out first, then start investing. Again, that's a whole nother video. But in investments, this is where you set aside money for retirement and kids' college, things like that. That's all we have in there for investments, is retirement and kids' college. And for the kids' college, it's just a little bit out of each paycheck into the S&P 500. And the retirement, we invest into some other ETFs like VTI, VUG, some of those other ETFs. Again, not an investment video. This is just how we lay out our budget. And then your lump sums. Remember, this is reflective of your bank account. So in the lump sums is where you've just got money sitting there, usually your emergency fund. So your 3 to 6 months of expenses, living expenses, of a lump sum, you decide that dollar amount, and it's just sitting under the lump sums. It's part of your emergency fund. It's just part of your bank account. And so you should be able to look at this and see and understand what's happening in your bank account. That's the reason for this, okay? Now, if you have questions, if you want me to dig deeper into any one of these sections, please leave a comment below. If you want me to dig deeper into one of these sections, I'll do that. We'll do a video on it. Leave a comment below. If the next video, because I noticed I didn't build debt, okay? We didn't build, if you have debt, we didn't build where that goes in the budget, okay? So that's going to be the next video, because it's a full video by itself. But if you have debt, there is a place for it in the budget. There is a better way to knock the debt out quickly. And so we're going to go over that next video. If you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification button. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.